Right. So now, in light of the situation in the world and the sudden change that has happened to women, with them having to, many career women, I've spoken to a lot of women, and their routine would have been waking up at 5, getting ready, going out to work, getting to work for 8, 7:30, whatever the case may be, getting home at after 6. So they spend very little time actually
at home. Yeah.
And now they have to do everything at home. It's actually more than, I would say for them, more than if they were normally at home, like a stay-at-home mom, because they weren't accustomed cooking, cleaning. Most of them have people probably clean for them, help them out. Now they have to do it all on their own. What advice would you give them in terms of structure, and how could they manage, not only in, having a proper structure in the home, managing their time properly, but also mentally? Because what I've also heard a lot of women say, it's that it's a lot for them
to process.
Mentally to process. And one of them in particular was saying that their little toddler, seeing mommy home and he's happy, but mommy's busy working on the computer, and he can't understand why mommy's just on the computer.
Not accessible.
Why is mommy just on the computer? Mommy, come and play, and mommy cannot play because, so it's really stressful for some women. Some have adapted and they're like, great, but for actually, I think the majority, it's a bit stressful and overwhelming. So what would you say to these women? Give them some advice. Probably share some of your secrets, how you structure your day, because you have 8. I am if you are looking at us now, which camera am I focusing on? Nice. If you are looking at us now and you have 8 children, you win in that Amazon voucher. But you have to prove it. You have to send me a picture, and you have to send it like as soon as possible. Don't go and look for 8 random children in the street and take a picture. Because I am sure there's no one looking at this stream right now who has 8 children, who even probably has 6 or 7, maybe, right? So this is not somebody who is giving you advice who is an amateur, or just somebody who's just studied. There are people who study and they say, okay, let me give you advice based on what I've studied and my degree. This is someone who is living the life that you now have to live. So Nikki, take it away. This is where I'm going to take notes too.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, this is not normal.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It's not normal. So nothing, we can't expect normal to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
I did a parenting seminar recently, just last week, Friday, actually, on my page, Made in His Image Consultancy Services. We actually recorded, so if people want to access it, they can do so.
Just say again where they can access it.
Made in His Image Consultancy Services. Right, that's on Facebook, and they can access that. You have to reach out to me though.
Okay.
Or message me through the page.
Okay.
And we talked about this because a lot of people, they have just been thrust into this new role, even though you might think, well, I'm a mother, I'm a working mother, this should not be so difficult.
Yeah.
But this was not your normal, and it's not the normal for your children either. Remember, you are thinking, but we had this routine or this particular schedule, and it's not happening that way anymore. So just as it's an anomaly for you, it's an anomaly for them.
Yeah.
So as we had said last week Friday, just take a breath.
Right.
Breathe.
Yeah.
This is not normal.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Take the breath. The second thing I would say is to lower the expectations.
Okay.
Lower the expectations that you will get everything right 100% of the time from the word go.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
That is important.
That is not going to happen.
I think women are hard on themselves.
Very, very hard on themselves. I'm hard on myself sometimes, right? So we have to lower the expectations. If you happen to be still employed, because many people lost their jobs, right?
Yes, yeah.
If you happen to be still employed, well, bless the Lord. But I would caution you to see how best you can possibly negotiate with your bosses or your higher-uppers to see how you could structure your day. Because remember, your children are accustomed to being in school, and they don't have that. I know schools are sending work and stuff home. I will speak to that in a minute. So the children are now seeing you at home. Life has become a lot less fast-paced.
Yeah.
So if you're home with me, mommy, how come you're not spending time with me?
Yeah.
So I would suggest you do one of two things. You were getting up at 5 a.m. anyway to go to work, to beat the traffic, etc. Still get up at 5 a.m.
Oops. That's something my husband has been trying to get me to do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, even if it's not 5, try 6.
An hour earlier than you would usually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
An hour later, sorry. and try to see how much you could get in that particular time in terms of your work commitments.
Right.
When your children get up, etc. If it's a husband and wife working at home, they could do a kind of a tag team. Because I'm at home, I homeschool the children, as you know. Jimmy's working from home, but he knows that my days are long, my days are full. This has not, I had to correct someone recently because they said, well, because they were talking to the children and they were saying, well, you know, this is your normal. And I had to say, well, no, this is actually not their normal. Because even though we are a homeschooling family and we don't go out to school, our freedoms have still been encroached upon as well.
Yes.
We don't get to go to the supermarket as a field trip and teach the kids about finding the best value and different things like that. Just shopping trips, errands, going to the park, just having a picnic, you know.
Correct.
So we don't have those things happening. The freedom to go and do whatever we're accustomed doing. So I would suggest that if you can, negotiate with your boss, who should be empathetic or at least sympathetic to the situation, because they can't expect to make the same demands of you that they would make in the office.
Correct.
When you are now working from home, where you have the demands of being a homemaker now on you as well.
Yeah.
So you can do a couple of things. See if you could negotiate with your boss to see if you could work maybe in tranches. As I said, get up early, give 2 to 3 hours before the children wake up in the morning. When they wake up, you have breakfast. I was telling you, Jimmy would normally prepare breakfast for the children, so I don't have that to do. And by the time I have breakfast and stuff, if I happen to have breakfast, he would usually make me a shake or something. And then I will get into homeschooling mode and do what I have to do. But even for us, homeschooling has changed. I'll talk to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So that is something that I would suggest. See if you can tweak your schedule a little bit in terms of work, your work schedule.
Right.
Because, I mean, to be fair, the children are at home. I believe most of them are very happy to be at home.
Yeah.
They're seeing mommy and daddy. They're not leaving in the dark to return home in the dark, depending on where you're living and the traffic and stuff. So allow them to enjoy the time and the space. So working earlier while they're still sleeping, and even when they go to bed at night, maybe getting a couple hours in as well.
Yeah.
Of course, that means you have to have structure,
Yes.
and the children have to have a bedtime.
Yes.
Right? If you're dealing with younger ones.
Bedtime. Yes.
Right? Having a bedtime. They thrive on routine.
Yes.
Children thrive on routine. So that is one way I would suggest, because if you get, let's say, 2 hours in the morning, and let's say maybe 2 hours midday, and then another 2 or 3 hours, and then another 3 hours, that's an 8-hour work day right there.
Yes.
Who says you have to work from 8 to whatever hour
Yes.
continuously when you have other demands being made on you at
Correct.
home by your children, the people who's supposed to matter the most.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the bosses and you want to keep your job, yes, but you can't keep it at the behest of your family.
Right.
Especially now the little ones, we don't understand, but how come you're home and we're not playing games? Or how come we're at home and we're not, right?
Yes.
One of the other things I would say, I've been saying this in all the interviews, Onika, take the time to recharge your spiritual batteries while you're at home.
Right.
Take the time to reboot. Start all over again. You said the same thing.
Yeah.
You've been clamoring for more time with your children, clamoring for more time away from the work, whatever. Do the best that you can. Yes, give Caesar what is Caesar's, right? But your children also need you. Your spouse also needs you. So try to see if you could allocate the time accordingly. Where the children are concerned, you were not originally their teacher,
right?
And you didn't necessarily sign up to be a homeschooling parent.
Yeah,
it was thrust on you, so you cannot expect to get up now and just be an A+ teacher.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So what now? I firmly believe that practically anybody could homeschool. Once you have a command of the English language, you can.
Okay.
I didn't start off being the most patient person on planet Earth, but homeschooling has taught me the fruit of patience, right?
Okay.
So I really believe that is very possible. Everybody's getting a dry run right now anyway, but I say that, but I'm still hesitating because this is not homeschooling.
Right.
What everybody is fighting up to do right now is more crisis schooling.
Yes.
It's corona schooling.
Yes.
It is not homeschooling.
Right.
All right? Homeschooling, as I had mentioned before in my podcast and other places, it's when the parent have made a decision to take the responsibility of educating their children at home. They may use a curriculum like the traditional homeschoolers would, or they may not use a curriculum like unschoolers do. Mm-hmm. They may be world schoolers. It's different things. What a lot of people are doing right now is pandemic schooling or crisis schooling. It's different. So you have now where schools are sending work for the children via email or whatever the case may do. They have Zoom classrooms set up, etc. if that is the situation for you, and your child's school has mandated that they get the work done, or you want to engage them with something while you do your work, that is fine.
Right.
But I want parents to understand that this whole clamor and the panic to keep up, they want the children to keep up, they don't want them to fall behind. Who are they going to fall behind? We are all in the same boat.
Correct. Yes.
Everybody's in the same boat.
Yes.
And chances are, because I believe the percentage was very high of people who don't have access to social media, they don't have access to computers and the internet,
yes.
they're going to have to repeat
yes.
all of this anyway.
Correct. Yeah.
So be easy on yourself.
Yeah.
Try to negotiate with your employer if you can possibly work in tranches and grabs of time as you can get it. If your child's school or the teachers are coming online and doing stuff and you want to occupy them that way, sure, but it's not because you want them to keep up. Who are they keeping up with?
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And often tell me, Onika, or people be always wowed by my children. They homeschool, you know, I have 2 entrepreneurs, 2 business young ladies, right, whose businesses are doing well. And I keep telling them there's nothing special about my breast milk. No, there isn't. It's because I homeschool,
right,
and I can see where my children's natural inclinations are, and I could then hone in on that, and support them in that regard.
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, my daughter who bakes, she will not always be a baker.
Yes.
I don't think she would. Right now, it's just something that she does. She enjoys doing it, and she's baking.
Yeah.
Right. The other one who was doing the tote bags and the stuff, she evolved into hand sanitizers and stuff because there was a demand for it.
Smart young lady, yes.
Yeah. Then we went into face masks as well because when we couldn't get the alcohol to make the sanitizer, masks were the next thing. And guess what? Because I had prepared for the sewing workshops for the teens and then the parents and the other adults who were interested, I had lots of fabric at home.
Right.
Remember, everything had to be cancelled with this COVID drama. So I had the fabric.
Wow.
And so we were able to churn out masks. We churned out so many masks.
Wow.
It's amazing. We couldn't believe it.
So,
and that's on her page. So each daughter has her own page. Yeah.
Does your daughter, she's the one that makes this money? Is it hers? Or
yes, it is. It's
all of it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, for Princess Cupcakes, I take my payment in cupcakes. I love cupcakes. So I take my payment in cupcakes. For Beauty and Fashion, yeah, I had to help with the masks, so I took a little something. Yeah. I had to help a little because the orders were just coming in. When our children look back, if the Lord should tarry.
Yeah.
When our children look back at this time, let the memories be that we spent time baking together.
Right.
We spent time cooking together. We spent time cuddled up in our sofa or in our beds reading books together. The rainy season is almost here.
Yes.
Cuddle up under the blanket.
Today was proof of that.
And reading books and stuff.
Yes.
Those are the fond memories you want your children to recall.
Yeah.
You don't want them to remember that you had them in a corner learning their 6 times tables.
Oh, gosh.
Or the conjugation of the verb hablar.
Yes.
Right?
Sorry?
Hablar. To talk in Spanish, right?
See, I am learning Spanish.
Right? So you don't want them to think about that. You want them to remember that bond that was built up and fostered during this time.
Yeah.
I am not against academics or academia, but education has to be holistic.
Yes.
One of the same business owners, the younger one, Bree, who just turned 12, she struggled with things like tables and that kind of thing. But once she sees in business how it's applicable, it's not a problem.
Not a problem, right.
So make it applicable.
Yes.
As I said in another interview on Saturday, if the children can see the practicality of what they're learning, they may be inclined to learn it.
Yes, you're right.
One person had commented in that particular interview that their child is opposed to any work at all at this time.
Right.
I said, well, okay, no problem. Why don't you take him into the kitchen with you and do some baking? Do you know how much science is involved in baking?
Yes.
How much measurement? Math? There's a lot of math happening there.
Yes.
So we could find creative ways as parents to still teach them what they need to learn, but by making it fun and practical, it's a win-win.
So